Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm gonna be updating you on makeup that I have not yet updated you on my channel. This makeup isn't exactly new because I took a break. I was away for a little bit. This summer I haven't really uploaded videos. So yeah, this is a lot of makeup, and some of this makeup is even from like February, March I think. But this is a bunch of makeup that I haven't really given you my final verdict on, and also just some makeup that I want to give you a little bit of a in-between update on, so you kind of know where I stand. That's not gonna be a lot, but a few things. I just want you to know where I'm at. I just want you to know how I feel about these products, because I feel like these videos are what really tell you whether you should pick something up or not, because first impressions, they can be very positive and then I can end up not liking the product as much. That can happen. So that's why we're gonna chat about a lot of products here. And yeah, you're gonna see some of these are a bit older in my collection. I think it's time to update you on the Makeup My Mind palette, or Makeup Your Mind, what is it? Read My Mind. It's Read My Mind. It's a Read My Mind palette by Nabla. I tried this a few months ago, but something about this palette made it pretty tough for me to really fully review it. And the thing that was actually tough for me was these two shades over here. I had tried all of the neutral shades, I had tried all the other shades, but I just didn't know how to incorporate those into a look. And yeah, in the end, I just did a look just trying those two out because I just didn't know how to use them. I really love the packaging of this palette. It's not like love, but it is pretty cute. It's pretty nice. I quite like it. I think that's a better way to say it. The layout and the color story, I feel like, is a little bit strange. In a way, it doesn't speak to me as much as other Nabla palettes do that I have. I love the Nabla palettes from like their dreamy time, like when they were coming out with the dreamy stuff. I love that. This is just a little bit strange. I feel like Nabla is going in a bit of a different direction, and I don't know if I really love it. They are also doing some different types of posts to promote on social media that I'm not that big a fan of. All in all, this palette, I think it's pretty good quality. I quite like the shimmers, even though this one is pretty sheer. It gets a bit of hard pan. I feel like this rosé shade, like Rosé 5, is really gorgeous. It's a little bit of a multichrome. It's like pinky, champagne-y, a little bit orangey, ambery, gold. There's just some different shades in there. I think this one is gorgeous, gorgeous, but this one, it doesn't really do it to me. Then we also have some satin shades, which are fine. The mattes are quite nice, but the two green shades, I don't know what to do with them. I feel like they're not pigmented enough to really like change the direction of a look. I feel like if these would have been more pigmented, then you could really go for a green look, but now it's just a little bit too soft and pastel-y and it doesn't really work. So I quite like the neutral tones. There are a lot of shades in here that I love, but to be completely honest with you, aside from this shade, I feel like this palette is just a little bit underwhelming, and I would recommend the Dreamy 1 and the Dreamy 2 over this. And I had waited for like, I think 1.5 years for them to come out with a bigger palette again, and I just feel like it wasn't what I was hoping for, and I guess I was really disappointed, and that's why I didn't really reach for it. It is a pretty okay palette, and there are some good quality shades in here for sure, but I feel like Nabla, they could do better. They haven't been making the best quality makeup these past 2 years. I think like their last cutie palettes, they were quite alright, they're quite nice, but there were some shades in here that I didn't really love, and it also weren't the most inspiring color stories. So I hope that they can kind of like pick themselves up again and do something really cool and inspiring, because I feel like they were the cool and inspiring brand, and they were, and in a way are, one of my favorite brands, but I just feel like this isn't entirely it, and I would have wished that it was a little bit better and a little bit better of a color story. Better in quality and in execution. Then we have this Alien Cosmetics Satin Liquid Lipstick. With some of these products, I'm not entirely sure if I reviewed them because they have been in my collection for such a long time that I feel like it should be that I have reviewed them, but I cannot find it anywhere that I've updated you. So I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but with some of these, I feel like I should have done this already, but apparently I didn't. So this is a satin lip. This quality is quite nice. The scent is very interesting. It smells like a certain kind of candy, but it's a bit strange for a lipstick, I feel, to smell like this. I think some people will love it, but for me it's a bit strange. The shade is quite nice, the wear is quite nice, it looks good on the lips. It's just this very nice satin lip that doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel drying. It looks very good, but still there's something about it that doesn't make me reach for it that often. It could be that it is the shade, because this shade, it is Kaylena and it is like a cool toned kind of deep brown, and it's a bit much for me. I think maybe in the fall I'm gonna reach for something like this a bit more, but I feel like maybe I bought the wrong shade at the wrong time, because it's a good formula. I think the packaging is cute, but yeah, I haven't really reached for it a ton. So I think I would recommend these. They are quite nice. There's nothing sticky about them. They are not transfer proof, but they wear quite long. This one wears quite long. I haven't tried other shades. Yeah, I quite like it, but this might be something that I have to come back to you on after I've worn it a little bit more. I feel like even though I've worn this a couple of times, it was really to test it out, and I feel like I still want to kind of get into this in the fall and then maybe do like an update on the updates. Could be a thing. Then we also have the Alien Cosmetics Gigi blush. It's called a blush palette. I don't know why, because it's just one blush. This blush is very pigmented, but it's not in a way that is unusable, but the blush itself is not special enough, it's not interesting enough to warrant having to work with that pigmentation. I just feel like it looks okay when I put it on. It looks quite nice, but it's nothing special. And then I have to go through the work of just being mindful of the pigmentation. It's just an uninteresting blush to me, even though when I look at the shade like this, I think it looks pretty cute. But once I apply it, I'm just like, it's fine. But there's just nothing pulling me in, nothing interesting about this for me. I feel like this was just a purchase that I maybe should have done, could have skipped. It's just fine. The packaging is fine. It's all fine. Don't think I'm gonna keep this in my collection. That's probably gonna leave. Then we have the Up Beauty Geodes palette. And it took me a time to really get into this, but I also reviewed it before I kind of stopped wearing makeup. Yeah, it was a tough one for me to review. I love the packaging. This is a palette with a little bit of a like manual. You have to know how to use it. If you use these shimmers dry, they're not gonna look as impactful. They're still gonna look pretty, but they're not gonna look as impactful. If you use them with a glitter glue, they're gonna be very nice. You can do some really pretty looks. I've done some really pretty looks with this. The thing with this palette is that it is pretty soft. I feel like the mattes are quite soft. You get quite a neutral softish look, so it's pretty, but I feel like I would have preferred the matte to be a little bit more interesting or a little bit more pigmented to really get those interesting looks in combination with those shimmers. I feel like now the mattes aren't on the same level as the shimmers, and it just throws me off a little bit. It's not that the mattes are bad, but I just feel like they're holding me back a little bit of doing the most amazing look. So they're like fine quality, but this matte and this matte, they're just a little bit too similar. They give a little bit too much of a similar softy vibe, and I would have liked to see more. I guess these two shades are like a little bit better, but it just doesn't give me all the options. I think it's gonna be more of a complementary palette to other palettes with the mattes that I really want to combine this with, and I want to try it out more like that. So I like it. It's a good palette. It's a nice formula, but the mattes, it's just the mattes. I don't know. Just they're okay, but they are not as good as the shimmers. But that's just my opinion. You might really love it. I've heard some really good reviews, And there are just 2 mattes in the palette that I'm just a little bit disappointed by. I think I can really get into this palette, but I just have to see what I can combine it with. That's something that I've bought a long time ago. These are the Terra Moons Multichrome Shimmers, and that I bought, I think, at Black Friday. Of course, I got them in later, but I've had this for a bit. I have to say that I have not tried all of these, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an in-between update. I think the shades that I've tried from this, and there's a shade, I think this one I used multiple times, I really love. This shimmer formula is so nice and opaque without being too thick or chunky. It just looks very beautiful and sophisticated and gorgeous and shiny. I think this might be one of my favorite shimmer formulas, but I have to try it out a little bit more. I have to use it more, but these are, so far as I can tell, really nice. I just love this opaque multichrome formula, and then the shades, and then the shimmeriness is just so nice. I just love how the shimmer, it's so gorgeous. I'm really into these so far, but of course I haven't tried them all. I only have 4 shades, but I really like these so far. Then a palette that I expected to love, but I ended up being pretty disappointed by, the Nomad Cosmetics Paradise Islands palette. I was so excited to try this brand. I was so into this color story. I was like, I can finally try Nomad Cosmetics. And yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed by this formula. I've heard people really rave about this palette and say they love it. I don't get it. I think these mattes, a lot of these mattes are just a little bit too thin, not opaque, a little bit patchy, and just not pigmented enough. Every time I use these mattes, it just feels like, it's just like my eyeshadow looks a little bit wonky. It doesn't look too good, and I just feel like it's blotchy. It just looks blotchy. It looks unpigmented in some places, but then more pigmented in others. And especially when I use it on a lower lash line, it just looks so strange. It's just flying around everywhere. And then we have some of these shimmers are just pretty disappointing. There's no shine to them. There's no pigment to them. They seem pretty like dusty. Some of the shimmers are kind of okay. I think the shades that I kind of like in this are Shark, Fish, and maybe Ocean, and that is it. I do not like this palette, and I'm pretty sad about it. I really was going into this thinking I am gonna love this, but every time I did a look, it just felt so weird, and I just felt like I wish I would have taken a similar shade from like Odin's Eye, from Juvia's Place, from another palette, and then it would have looked exactly how I wanted. I never got my look how I wanted with this palette, and it's just so sad because it's so cute. The packaging is so cute. I like the whole vibe of the brand. The color story is cute, but I could not make this work. And I have done a lot of looks. I really tried. I really did. I really wanted to see how all of these shades were, and it just didn't happen for me. It just didn't. So time for a little update on the Catrice, what's this collection called? The Tropic Exotic Limited Edition. I just grabbed this cheek palette from my drawer, and then I noticed that the part that holds the blushes, bronzers, highlighters, the front part was totally loose, and now it's sticking to one little bit. It's sticking a little bit. So this is broken, and I have not brought it anywhere. That's just been in my drawer, so I don't know what happened with that. I don't think it was glued very well. This palette, I feel, is pretty okay. The blush, I'm just gonna put it down because it's gonna fall out. The blush and the bronzer, they are kind of okay, but I feel like there are blushes and bronzers out there that blend better, that look better. I feel like the bronzer is more like a topper. It looks a little bit weird if I use it on its own. The blush sometimes looks a little bit unblended. I have to work a little bit for it. The highlighters are very nice. I quite like these highlighters, but I think in the end this palette is not going to stay in my collection, because even though I really like this packaging, it's falling apart. I don't like 2 out of 4 of the shades. Like, the highlighters are nice, but do I have to keep it for that? This is going to be a little bit of a tough product to decide on. Then we have the matte face and body bronzer. I've used this quite a lot of times actually, and I'm really into it. The only thing I don't like is that it's so big, but I like the blendability, I like the finish, I like the color. It looks very natural on me. It's like a natural sheen. I really like it. It is very, very nice. I am not wearing it today, but I wore it, I think, in yesterday's video. I've worn it quite a bit. It's nice. It's a good one. Then we have the Tropic Exotic eyeshadow palette. There are some shades in here that I really like. There are some shades in here that are a little bit of a dud. But all in all, you can make a really cute look with this, and this bronzy shade is just really, really nice. This shade is also very nice, and this one as well. The blues are just a little bit tough to work with. Well, this one is nice, but this one is a little bit tough. But if you combine them, you can still get a pretty cute bluish look. I really like this shade over here. This is a palette where I'm like, it's good for the price because there are a few dots in there and a few shades I wouldn't use. It's like, the end result is nice. I like the end result, but you have to work a little bit to get there. Pick the right shades. So yeah, for the price, it's a cute palette. And I think I actually really like it because of the shimmer shades, the shimmer options that we have here. I probably am still gonna keep it in my collection for that reason, but that's, for me, it's really like if there are one or two really special shimmer shades and the rest is quite nice and I can build a look around that, it's easier for me to get excited about a palette. In a way, I would recommend it. I think I would recommend it, but be aware that there are a few dots in this palette. But that is usually the case with Catrice. They usually have some hits and misses in their palettes. I got a question if I like this one more or the Pro Slim neutral eyeshadow palette with like the greenish, bronzy and kind of like burgundy shades in there. I feel like the shimmers in here, these shimmers are better than the palette. So you get a little bit more of a special like shiny look with this. But the other palette has some more options and the shimmers are still pretty nice. It's a tough choice. It's a tough decision. I feel like they both have some pros and cons, and I feel like it's a bit about what I'm feeling. If I'm really feeling the fall vibes look, I will go for the other palette, but if I'm feeling like the shiny bronzy look, I will go for this palette. And yeah, you can do with that what you want to decide. Then I am gonna update you on this palette, the SS Make Beauty Fun palette. I don't exactly know how many extra looks I did with this, to be honest, but I feel like I did at least one extra look. But I have decided that I am not gonna spend my time or energy on this palette anymore. It's just a weird color story. It's just also light and dusty and not shiny, and I really don't like this palette. It just stresses me out thinking that I have to do another look with this. And this is like the embodiment, if I can say it like that, of being overwhelmed, buying makeup that I'm not too excited about. If you want to know more about that, check out my low buy video. I'm going on a low buy. And this is like the embodiment. This is the reason that I am actually doing this, because I cannot deal with this kind of things anymore. I wanted to review this Essence collection because I thought people would be interested in it, but actually I could have already known that I wouldn't like this because it is so light, it's so dusty. It's just nothing about this that inspires me, and I just don't like it at all. So this is where it ends for me. And I'm just gonna give up on this eyeshadow palette. This is gonna be it for us. I just had to change my battery, so if something looks a little bit different, that is why. Okay, so we have two more products from the Make Beauty Fun collection. I have the Plumping lip gloss. This is a cute lip gloss, but it is just cute to look at, and it's not much besides that. It feels good on lips, it looks shiny, it is kind of hydrating, but is it like revolutionary? Except for like the way it looks really pretty, but I don't feel like I needed this in my life. But if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of makeup, you want a clear kind of slightly shimmery gloss, I would recommend it. It is cute, but I didn't need this in my life, and I don't feel like it's different enough or exciting enough for me, but it isn't bad. There's nothing bad about it. Then we have the Make Beauty Fun highlighter. I actually really like it. I think it looks really good on skin. I love the shades in here. We have that kind of corally shade and then the gold, yellowy gold shade. I think this is a very nice one if you pick something up from this collection. I would recommend going for this one. And I think I should have just gone with the one highlighter and be happy with that, because this is what is really nice. I think it's a really cute highlighter. Let me see, there's some more Essence and Catrice over here. So this one I actually wore yesterday, the Essence Jurassic World highlighter. This is a really cute highlighter. It's not revolutionary, it's kind of like this nude shade. It's pretty similar to my skin tone, but it is nice. It looks pretty nice. It is nice and glowy. It is not too stark or too metallic. I would recommend it. It's a cute highlighter. I'm kind of impressed with it, but it's not like changing my life. Then we have the Revolution Pro Luster Blusher in Coral. I wouldn't say this is coral. This is like a really bright Barbie pink. This blush is a pretty nice formula. It's nice and glowy, but it's just too bright for me to actually use. It is really pigmented, it's really bright, so be aware. I think if I had a lighter shade of this, I would actually really like it, because it is nice and glowy, and I can kind of make it work if I just use a little bit, but I just feel like it's a little bit too much for me. But if you have a deeper skin tone, then this is gonna show up on you for sure. It is an interesting product. If you're fair, probably get one of the more fair shades and the more lighter shades. I don't think that I'm going to be keeping this in my collection because it's just too much of a hassle. It's just too pigmented and it's not a type of shade that I really love to wear. I just thought that it was going to be a little bit warmer, like a little bit more coral, but it's just so Barbie pink. So yeah, pretty good, pretty nice, but not exactly for me. Then we have the Essence Everlasting Blooms eyeshadow palette. I feel like my feelings about this are a little bit similar to the Catrice palette that I just showed you. There are some shades in here that are really, really nice. I mean, these matte pinks are so good, very pigmented, very blendable. You can get a pretty look with it. The shimmers, the pink shimmers, you can combine it with, and then you can get a really nice look. But then we have this row, like maybe not this row, because this shade is pretty good. Like, this purple doesn't really do it for me. This purple is a little bit better. I didn't need a pressed glitter in my life. So it's like the look that you can get with this, if you go into the right shades, is really nice and quite impressive. But there are some shades in here that are duds. So to me, in the end, it's an okay palette, but I'm still happy that I have it because of those bright pinks that really work well. So it's like a good for the price kind of situation if you take it as a whole. But if you really focus on that one specific look that you can get with it that is more interesting than other eyeshadow palettes, I don't know. It's hard to say with these eyeshadow palettes with these prices. It's hard. And then we also have the Everlasting Blooms Lip and Cheek Stick. This is a cream blush. Well, I guess you could use it for your lips, but I don't like it for that. I feel like it looks too dry. It's a nice cream blush. It blends out well. It's a nice shade. It is just that I would not take this traveling with me because this opens up way too easily. This is not like locked in tight. I think this is gonna open in your bag, in your makeup bag. So I am gonna keep it, but I'm gonna keep it in my collection drawer, and that is where it's gonna be. But yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed. It's a good cream product. Okay, we have more. I think this is the last Essence product for now. This is the Essence Everlasting Bloom Duo Highlighter. I quite like it. It is a little bit of a deeper gold shade on me, deeper gold nude shade on me if I combine the two shades. It is a good highlighter, pretty similar in formula and finish to the Jurassic World one. Not really have anything to complain about. Does it change my life? I would say no. So if you have a lot of highlighters, you don't need this in your life. Then we have a bunch of Kiko Milano that I still have to update you on. So I tried the Festival Glow collection, and I already mentioned this one in the video. This is the Festival Glow Baked Bronzer in Burnt Sienna. This is a really nice glowy, shimmery, sunny bronzer. It looks very nice and glowy on the skin. It's not too chunky. The scent of this is absolutely horrendous. I hate it. Now that I open it, I'm like, why? Who likes the scent? It smells like old ladies, but it smells like 100 old ladies in the same room. Like, it's too much. It's too much. I don't want to smell this anymore, but it's a good product and you don't smell it on your skin. So I'm into this, but be aware if you're sensitive to scents. I am a little bit, and this is I can handle it, but it definitely isn't good. So the quality of the product, very nice, Very nice for summer, even though it has almost ended. Still a very nice product. Quite like that one. Then we have the Festival Glow 3D Blush in Golden Peach. I really feel like I've already updated you on this, but I don't think I actually have. I couldn't find it anywhere on my channel. So this is a little bit of a lighter pigmented blush, but it's very glowy. I think it's really cute. It's a nice one to kind of top over a blush with, but you can also use it on its own. It's a little bit of a subtle look in terms of the color, but it's more like very glowy. It's like a blush highlighter hybrid. I like this, but I don't feel like it's revolutionary for Kiko, but it's still a good blush if you're looking for a glowy blush. Then we have this no transfer lipstick. This lipstick I did not like. It is so sticky. It just flew out. It just flew out of the bullet. This just happened. Okay, I'm happy I did not like this lipstick. I think I was a little bit too aggressive. What happened? That never happened to me before. Okay, so this is a lipstick that I am happy that I do not like. Yeah. What happened to these products? The glue of one didn't work and this is flying out. I don't know. So yeah, so sticky. I don't like it. It might be non-transfer, but I'd rather have a little bit of transfer than be this uncomfortable all day. So I don't like this one. And then lastly, for the Festival Glow collection is the Golden Star Cushion Highlighter. I really like it. It's a really good highlighter. It's a beautiful shade. It's kind of like a nice golden peach. It is a bit different in a way than I'm used to on the skin. This is a great product, very similar to their Glam Cushion highlighters that they had last year, but a different shade. And I have to say, I think this is my favorite shade I have of these. So gorgeous, so pretty. Then I also tried these two cream sticks by Kiko. We have the Velvet Touch Creamy Stick Blush, and this is a very nice and glowy. It's a new shade, nude shade. And yeah, this is 01. This is so easy to blend, so easy to use. It is very natural, glowy. It is so easy to take with me if I go somewhere else, if I travel. I really like this. I think this is amazing. And the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour in 200. I cannot speak anymore. This one is also amazing. It's like a really cool toned bronzer, but not too cool toned to use as a bronzer. I use it as a bronzer, not really like a contour, but I like really cool toned bronzers on myself. I have a neutral to cool undertone. This is amazing. It blends so easily. It is so easy to use. It's a beautiful shade. I really love it. I have used these actually quite a bit for someone who wasn't really into makeup for a while and wasn't really paying attention to it. But if I wore makeup, I wore these. These are really nice. Highly recommend. Then we have these two lip liners by Kiko. These are amazing. I am wearing the one that is 318 today. Very nice and creamy, long wearing, feel amazing on the lips. They are affordable, beautiful shades. We have a lot of options. I'm really into these. These are like my new favorites because of the way they are not too creamy, but just creamy enough, pigmented enough. I really am into these, and I've worn these quite a bit actually. They're very nice. I also really like the shade 302. It's a little bit of a lighter, like nudie pink, really nice. Alright, there's more. There is more to talk about. Let's just get this one out of the way. The Nimya 24/7 365 lip balm. Beautiful lip balm. I quite like the way this packaging looks. It smells, this lip balm smells amazing. It smells so yummy. It smells like freshly baked caramel cookies, something like that. It kind of makes me think of the Lunar Beauty lip glosses, but even more yummy. I didn't know it was possible, but this smells even more like food. It's very comfortable. It is very hydrating. It feels amazing on the lips. It looks very shiny. This is a great lip balm. It's actually really good, and I'm actually happy that I have it. I'm happy that I own it. I have used it quite a bit. Then let's chat about some makeup by Mario. I don't think I've actually updated you on this one, but I have talked about it in some videos. It's not that easy to open always, but this is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in light medium. This is definitely the right shade for me, even though I'm not really like close to medium. I'm more of a light. I feel, but I don't know, maybe you have other ideas about that. This is a really easy to use cream bronzer that is very natural in finish. So it's not like that perfecting, like really skin perfecting cream bronzer. It is really like a natural finish. It still shows your imperfections, but it's really easy to use, and it does stay on when it's hot, when it's warm, when I'm sweating. It is really long wearing. It is easy to use. I really actually like this one, and I've used it quite a bit. I have to say it's been a while since I've reached for this one, but it is a very nice cream bronzer and I would recommend it. But at this point in my cream bronzer, cream contour journey, I would say the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour by Kiko is like 1/3 of the price and even easier to use, and it has a little bit of the perfecting quality. I would say that this stick is more of a favorite than this one, even though I also still really love this one. This one is amazing. I would highly recommend that one. Then the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. I don't get it. This doesn't work for me. I just feel like it adds some shimmer where I don't want it. I've tried it multiple times, but this is just not my thing. I feel like I kind of wasted my money on this, but I was really hopeful. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't do anything for me. It's just too chunky, shimmery, and I don't see a difference in a way that I like. So this is a dud for me, but maybe there are some people that like it. It doesn't mean that you can't like it at all. Then we have the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Powder Blush in Creamy Peach. I don't like this. First of all, this packaging right away scratched. Like the first time that I used it, there is a scratch on here. Can you kind of see? I don't like that. I don't like when packaging, especially of such an expensive blush, because I paid quite a lot of money for this. I don't like it when packaging is so easily like made ugly, because we have this white packaging and then a scratch. And then the actual blush, I don't like this. It's too powdery. It doesn't do anything special. It looks a bit blotchy and powdery on the cheeks. It doesn't do anything for me. There's like chunky glitter sort of in there. This is really like a dud for me. It is just dusty. To me, it is just dusty and crusty, and I'm not into it. I don't know what I did wrong, because I feel like people liked it, but this is not my type of blush, and I'm not gonna keep this in my life. I just don't feel excited to use that at all. Then I have some Charlotte Tilbury here. First up, the Beauty Light Wand Easy Highlighter in Pillow Talk. This is amazing. This is beautiful. I really love it. You have to understand though that this update is coming in a bit of a weird time of my life, because a lot of these products I actually wanted to update you on like 2 months ago, but then I went on a break, I went on vacation, a lot of things happened in my life, and I kind of stopped filming YouTube for a little bit. So yeah, in that time during the break, I wasn't really wearing a lot of makeup, I wasn't doing YouTube, and I wasn't really thinking a lot about this makeup. So if I'm telling you like I love to wear it, it's so nice and easy and blah blah blah, I wore it a bunch like two months ago, so I have to be honest with you. This is really nice, a beautiful shade. It's like this kind of cool tone pinky, but nudie. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I would recommend it. And then we have the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Multi Glow Highlighter. This one, beautiful packaging, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't have gotten this. I think I bought the wrong shade, because I do like it as kind of like a blush topper, but then when I use it as a blush topper, it's kind of like a bronzy type shade, kind of like champagne bronzy. I kind of like to mix it in with the blush. I like it like that, but it definitely isn't a highlighter. I feel like when I use this as a highlighter and kind of go into this part, or be a little bit more precise with it, I feel like it looks a bit too glittery, chunky, and not smooth enough. And yeah, to be honest, it just isn't my shade, and that always kind of enhances it if the formula isn't like exactly your thing, or sometimes it makes the formula look a little bit odd. So I feel like I can still use this as kind of like a blush topper. It can still look nice. Looking at it online, I just thought that it was gonna be a little bit different, and I should have done more research. Alright, let's move on to some Luna Beauty. I feel like I already updated you on this, but I don't think I actually did. So the Luna Beauty Nude Prism eyeshadow palette is actually very nice. Considering how much I actually did my makeup, I use this a bunch. I used this yesterday. The Shimmers. Beautiful, amazing, textured, shiny, so foiled. And the matte, you have so many options and they're all beautiful. I think this is an amazing neutral palette. The whole vibe, just the whole theme, just how this looks and the feel and how this erased moon looks. It just is amazing, well executed. And I have been pretty excited about this, even though I was too overwhelmed to actually use any makeup. I've been pretty excited about this, and I'm excited to use this more because we just have quite a few options. And you can make a little bit more of a pinky purple look with this as well. You have more options than you might think when you look at it like this. I've done quite a few looks with it, and I've been pretty impressed. It's a good eyeshadow palette, and especially that shimmer formula is next level. Then we have the Nude Prism blush palette. I actually really like it. I have to say I really like these 4 shades. They are so easy to wear, so easy to use, easy to blend. I think this lilac-y shade is a gorgeous nude on cooler skin tones. Really into it. This Blaze shade I can kind of mix in and get a bit of a burnt orange look. Kawaii is a bit much for me, a little bit bright, but it's still nice to have the option. I don't mind it. Combining these two is also quite a cute look. I've been really into this blush palette. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. I love the formula that the Luna Beauty brand has, because it has this perfecting, beautiful skin look that it gives you. Really into it. And yeah, that's also what I kind of have to say about the original one, the Moon Prism blush palette. Once again, beautiful packaging, a little bit brighter, and then the shades in here are also amazing, very beautiful. All of these work for me, which I'm really happy about. This one is a little bit brown for me, but if I kind of combine it with something else, it still works. I actually have gone into these blush palettes a bunch before I kind of stopped wearing makeup. I was really excited about these, really wore them a lot. We are almost there. I feel like this is such a long update video. I'm doing my best to be quick. Okay, I'm not entirely sure if I really updated you on this, but I feel like I did talk about it, but we're just gonna talk about it a little bit more. The Dragon Fruit palette is just very pretty, beautiful. I've done so many cute looks with it. It's a very nice palette of shimmers, especially you always get a shiny look. But I also like combining it with different things as well. You can just grab a pop out of here, but you can also do a look just with these shades, because for example, strawberry pear or something like that, and then something of these, exotic or sweetened, you can put that in the crease and then kind of combine it with the more shiny shimmers. There are some beautiful shades in here. I'm really excited about it. It's a little bit of a companion palette, but I also like to use it on its own. Gorgeous, beautiful summer palette, beautiful packaging. I'm really excited about it, really into it. For me, I feel like this was in my best makeup of 2022 so far video, which was like 2 months ago, but it's really good. I really like it. Then we have the Fruit Lighter Multichrome highlighter from this collection. This was a little bit of a risk, because I had never tried a multichrome highlighter, but this is really gorgeous. It's a bit much for me, but you can still use it as like an eyeshadow topper or an eyeshadow, because it's so shiny and sparkly. But even though it's a bit much, I still really like it on the cheeks. But I think it's a bit of a like party highlighter for me. It's a bit of a specific situation highlighter for me, but for that situation, when I'm in that situation, it looks very gorgeous and sparkly. It's just, I have to be a little bit careful, really blend it out, because it really has the pigment and the shine and the shifts of an eyeshadow. It's kind of like an eyeshadow, like a single eyeshadow. Maybe I should just kind of treat it like that, like a single eyeshadow. I think I would love it like that. But it's kind of like applying an eyeshadow by Kaylena on your cheeks, but it can be a very gorgeous, a very interesting result. And it's just really something different for me and for my makeup collection. So I'm excited about it, but it's not gonna be my new favorite everyday highlighter. That's just not it. Then we have the Martina Cosmetics Martina's Diner collection that I did a video about. I have some thoughts about this. I think it's a cute eyeshadow palette. There are some beautiful shades in here, but this lighter yellow didn't really work out for me personally. I thought it was not pigmented enough. Also, some of the shimmers are just quite subdued, quite satin, which is fine because you can kind of combine it with the more sparkly shades, but you have to keep that in mind. This is a brand that loves the satins. So Karen, for example, is a very sparkly, nice shade, but there are a bunch of other shades in here that are more satin that aren't like my favorites, but you can still make a beautiful look because they are quite pigmented. Then the deeper mattes, like a bunch of these mattes are actually very nice. I love these mattes, they are very beautiful, the minty shades. So to me, I am not as excited about this and not as impressed by this as the Martine and Orbit. I feel like there was a name collection with the 3 little palettes that were inspired by the planets. I love that collection so much. I loved every look I did with it. It was so interesting. I feel like that is just a little bit better to me. There's just something about those mattes and the quality is very nice. I like this palette. I have done some very beautiful looks with it. I have been pretty excited to use it, but I feel like it has a little bit too many like softer shades that are not as pigmented as I want them, that are not as shiny as I want them. So it's not like a perfect palette, it's not like the best palette ever, it's not like a new favorite, even though I really like the looks that I get with it. And then last but not least, we have the Martinez Diner Hot Sauce Pepper Sauce. This is a lip plumper, and this is the kind of lip plumper that is pretty like spicy on the lips, but I didn't think personally that it was too painful. I didn't think it was too bad. I could deal with it quite well, but I don't know if I'm just a person that can deal with this kind of stinginess better than others. I've never really tried lip plumpers that are like this burning sensation, so I really don't know. I've only tried like the minty ones that are just a little bit minty, according to me. But this is quite a nice lip plumper. It is kind of like a sheer red. It looks good on the lips. It looks very nice. It feels nice. It's not sticky, not too thick, not too thin. It feels hydrating. It's just a little bit of the burning sensation, but it goes away after a while. So if you like a lip plumper and you like this whole hot sauce idea, I guess I would recommend it. But for me, it's just not super exciting because I am not really like a lip plumper kind of person. I don't think I need this in my life. Alright, so that was a lot of makeup that I had to update you on. But I'm feeling like refreshed. I feel like I can move on with my life now, even though there's still some makeup that I want to update you on, but I feel like that's a lot less. I've condensed it down to a lot less that I still want to review and update you on, so I can really focus on that. And this can go back into my collection, or it can go in my worst makeup of 2022 box. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.